I offer my respectful obeisances to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And I also extend my undying gratitude to Narottam Priya Prabhu, who is one of my favorite devotees in the Krishna consciousness movement. I offer my respectful obeisances to all the assembled devotees. I'm extremely honored to be here with you. This is a historic event because we've all arrived here together in the Kali Yuga for a purpose. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Karabhajana Muni says, Kalim Sabha Jayantyarya Gunagya Sarabhagina Yatra Sankirtanenaiva Sarva Swartopi Labhyate. He says that those who are very intelligent, who know what the essence of the truth is, they worship Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is the best time because in Kali Yuga you can fulfill all purposes by performing Sankirtan. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this Kali Yuga has appeared. Normally there's an avatar, a Shakti Vaisesika that comes to spread the Yuga Dharma. But this time Krishna has come for his own reasons, as you all know, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the spiritual master for the whole universe. He's Krishna himself, but he's acting as a devotee. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives an order that every one of us can take to heart. He says, Jari dako tahi kaha Krishna upadesh amaragnaya guru hanatar adesh. Adesh means wherever you might live, whatever place you're in right now. Then he says, I'm giving you this order. It's from me, from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it goes to every one of us. He says, whomever you meet, wherever you go, teach people what Krishna has taught in the Bhagavad Gita and in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And just by taking this order and making it the goal of our life to fulfill the order to the best of our capacity. You know that birds fly in the sky as high as they're able to fly, but the sky's unlimited. So it doesn't matter how high you fly, it matters if you're flying according to your capacity and doing the best you can. Those who take to heart the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and make it their main business in life to spread the teachings of Krishna, make advancement very quickly and become dear to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and to Krishna as well. As you know, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that anyone who's teaching the message of Bhagavad Gita to others is the most dear to me. No one is more dear to me than such a person. We are the recipients of the instructions of those who are the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For instance, Bhaktivedanta Thakur, he dedicated his life to spreading the message of Krishna through his bhajans, through his writings, and through his personal example. And we also have Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And then we have, for our ISKCON society, our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. All of these Acharyas have given us very specific direction about how to spread the message of Krishna to others. And one of the ways is through book distribution. I hope you don't mind if I say a few words about book distribution. Sometimes I hesitate because sometimes people think, here comes Vaisesika Das, he's just going to talk about book distribution. That's all he talks about. It's all he cares about. But that's not true. I care about many things. But because you're here, and because Narottam Priya Prabhu is so dedicated to the fourth law of book distribution, which is organizing, which is the way that we can expand the Krishna consciousness movement through organization, then I thought I'd say a few words about book distribution. One is that it's very important and we should do it. Book distribution is something that's relevant today, if not more, as time goes forward in the Kali Yuga, than it ever was. Books are beloved in human society. When people receive a book, even if they're not interested in it at the moment, it will end up somewhere, someone will read it, because books have this staying power. It's very hard to get rid of a book. Somebody gives you a book, even if you don't want it, you can't throw it away, really. Humans don't think about throwing books away, or even recycling. They take it home, they put it down, someone else will pick it up. And the vision of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta and our founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, was to inundate the world with books. And the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to go to every town and village also means in every language, because villages, regions of the world are defined by what language they speak. So miraculously, we have access to the teachings of Lord Krishna intact in the Bhagavad Gita as it is. We have the Srimad Bhagavatam, we have the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and many other of these books that have been passed down to us, and we have them in multiple languages. So if we make them available to people, it changes their lives individually. Yesterday, we had a table out in front of the temple. We've been putting it out there on a regular basis in between our readings here. We came together this year for Kartik in this place to read the Chaitanya Charitamrita together, and this morning I'm happy to announce that we'll be completing the Adi Lila of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It was 1,650 pages approximately. And so we all sat in a room together over the last couple weeks and read the whole thing out loud and listened. And on the breaks, we went outside to the marg where people are walking by and put up a book table. And something miraculous happened. And that was that people got attracted to them. Of course, these are the best people in the world. Who comes to Govardhan? They come here. The family I met said they come here once a month from Jaipur just to do their parikram. But I noticed what I notice anywhere in the world is as soon as you show Prabhupada's books, you put them on a display and you just show them to people, then there's a certain number of people that take a keen interest in it and they would like to take it home. And they also noticeably are eager to find out more about Krishna consciousness. There are tens of millions of people like that in the world. So your mission, should you decide to accept it, is to connect with those people and give them an opportunity to come closer to Krishna by giving them transcendental literature and also inviting them to join the Sankirtan movement. Bhaktivinoda Thakur sang, Radha Krishna Bolo Shange Chola E Matra Bhika Chai. Our only bhika, the only alms we're begging from people is just please come and join the Sankirtan movement and help to spread the movement and also to chant Hare Krishna. And also, we invite people to dedicate their lives to the main process for success, which is chanting Hare Krishna. It's something people overlook because there are many kinds of instructions that people get and many ideas people have for success, and they can get confused. This is a test to see how focused we are. This is called yoga. You have to concentrate for a minute. There's a devotee we read about in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. His name's Tapana Mishra. And Tapana Mishra had heard so many instructions and read so many books that he got confused about the goal of life. And then one night he had a dream. A Brahmana came to him in a dream and said, "You should meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and ask him what to do." And the next day, after that night's dream, he happened to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's how spiritual life works. And he surrendered to him and he said, "What should I do?" And what do you think Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Tapana Mishra? What is your opinion? That's correct. Who said that? Prabhu? What is your name? Pavan? Pavan said, "Chant Hare Krishna." What do you think? That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him to do, just chant Hare Krishna. So, very good. So Tapana Mishra then took to the process of chanting Hare Krishna, and Mahaprabhu also sent him to Varanasi. And no one could understand why he was sending him to Varanasi now that he just surrendered to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But it was because Mahaprabhu planned to go there to convert Prakashananda Saraswati and all the Mayavadis. He hadn't even taken sannyas yet, but he had the plan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's plan is far-reaching. He has the vision to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. And we have a very short lifespan, but if we use our lifespan now to help Chaitanya Mahaprabhu realize his mission, which is to spread Krishna consciousness to every continent of the world, then we'll make spiritual advancement, and Mahaprabhu will count us as part of his own party. And we'll go back home, back to Godhead. So, distributing books, the way I envision it, means to make a conscious contact with people. Wherever we go, there are living entities moving about, and to find a particular person who's ready to accept a transcendental literature requires first making a conscious contact with somebody. I'm making a conscious contact. What is this very handsome devotee's name? Yeah. Huh? Brahmud? I'm making a conscious contact with Hare Krishna. A few minutes ago, I didn't know his name. He didn't know me, I didn't know him, right? We haven't met before. But now, I'm aware of him, he's aware of me. And it's amazing because I'm a conscious being, he's a conscious being. That's what's really the miracle in the universe. And what can we do when we meet another conscious being? We can say, "Hey, how are you?" And what people say oftentimes, like, "Where are you from?" And then they make some casual conversation. But the most meaningful thing that can happen when we meet somebody is to offer them an opportunity to enter into the realm of the spiritual world. So after making a conscious contact with somebody, I like to ask them a question. Pramod, where are you from? Hyderabad. I love Hyderabad. I went to Hyderabad. I went to Hyderabad with Prabhupada in 1975. And now we have something in common. So now that we have something in common, when I meet somebody like Pramod and he'll tell me he's from Hyderabad and I tell him I love Hyderabad, or if it's somebody from somewhere else that I haven't been, I'll tell him I've heard a lot about it and I'd really like to go there. And this is a natural way to make a friendship with someone. Because as Lord Krishna said to the sages at the Kurukshetra, Bhoma Ijadi, everyone does a little puja to their hometown every day in their mind and heart. So if you appreciate where someone's from, where are you from, Prabhu? Surat. I love Surat. Prabhupada went to Surat, and the people there were very welcoming. It's a beautiful place. I'd like to go there as soon as possible. And now, and I'm genuinely eager to go there, and I genuinely love Hyderabad. And when we genuinely appreciate where people are from, then we have a natural bond. And at that time, we can then offer them a transcendental literature. So yesterday, the first person I met, there was two gentlemen walking by, and I waved to them, made a conscious contact, and then I said, I'm from California, where are you from? And then the person said, I'm local. I said, you're from Vrindavan? He said, yeah. So I grabbed a book, and then I was about to hand it to him, but I put it behind my back, and I said, wait a minute, are you really local? And he said, no, I really am local. Are you sure? And then he said, yeah. I was like, okay, here you go. This is for you. So the next stage is to put a book in somebody's hand. And so once they have some qualification, I've met them and made a conscious contact. We have instant rapport because I like where they're from or something about them. Then I can hand them the book. And here in India, it's a little bit different, distributing Bhagavad Gita. I have a rule, actually, because in America, where I live, we have a lot of people from India also. But generally, I never hand them a book. Because as soon as I hand an Indian a Bhagavad Gita, they get a little bit annoyed. Because they think I'm trying to say that they don't read the Bhagavad Gita, even though they don't. So generally, I don't hand them a book, and I'll just talk to them and make friends with them. And then I'll say, you already know Bhagavad Gita. I just tell them that statement. You already know Bhagavad Gita. Your mother knows Bhagavad Gita. Your grandmother memorized Bhagavad Gita and used to chant it every day. Because that's what they were just about to tell me. If I handed them the Bhagavad Gita, they would have said to me, I know Bhagavad Gita. My mother reads Bhagavad Gita. My grandmother memorized Bhagavad Gita. She used to chant it every day. But I already told him that, so now he can't say it. But I didn't even give him the book. So then I tell him, and this is a very important phrase that I'll teach you. It's like a little golden key. And you can use it when you talk to people. And it doesn't matter how many times you use it, in the same conversation, it will be effective. And I say to people, as you know better than me. Try saying that. As you know better than me. Or as you know better than I. As you know better than I. That's how I make a preface to explaining the Bhagavad Gita. As you know better than I. This is the most important book of India. In fact, it's the most important book in the world because nowadays there are a lot of difficulties in the world that can be solved only from a spiritual level. And the wealth of India is the Bhagavad Gita. As you know better than I, the Bhagavad Gita solves all the problems of the world. Therefore, what we're doing is we're setting up schools, classes all over the world, not just in India, but also in Japan, in China, in Norway, in Germany, and you can name various places, where we're teaching people the wealth of India, which is the Bhagavad Gita. And so today we have thousands of people who are working together to distribute about 1 million Bhagavad Gitas. And we're just doing a fundraiser. And we ask everyone to give money. So when Indians hear that it's a fundraiser and you haven't put a book in their hand, then they immediately respond because they think, I have money and it's burning a hole in my pocket, and they were just thinking of a way to get rid of it, to give their money. And it's not to buy the book, it's a donation to help spread Bhagavad Gita all over the world. And they'll appreciate that. So then when they give the donation, then I give them the Bhagavad Gita and other books, and they're very happy to accept them. So that's one of the ways that I approach the Indians. Just as a side, this doesn't necessarily apply to you, but I just want to point out that here, many of the devotees who are distributing books don't speak Hindi or any of the local languages. So there's people who speak Bengali. But we use a language card. Do you have one available? I'll show you what they look like. We have a little collection of cards that have languages from around the world. And When we go to, for instance, Jagannath Puri, the last several years we've had a yatra there, we bring about 5,000 books with us in Hindi, Bengali, and Oriya. And in that region, we distribute all those books within about 4 days. And most of the devotees who distribute them, 95% of them, don't speak the local language. So we figured out how to do that without speaking their language. Should I tell you? The first thing we figured out is that if you kick off your shoes, then people start to take you seriously. So when we walk up to people, we kick off our shoes. Are my shoes here? Hold on, I'll be right back. I'll show you what it looks like. Thank you. Navina Prabhu will help me out. Okay, note that I'm kicking my shoes off. Then they'll kick their shoes off. And then I offer my obeisances. Then I hand them a book. Then we have Bengali, Hindi, Telugu, and then we hand them the card. And I just say anything. And if you know yoga, you just stand in the mountain pose. So the benefit is they know that you know that they know what it means. And you don't have to say anything. It's either yes or no. It's a binary choice. But because you kicked your shoes off, they'll take it. Then we give them some prasadam. And Hare Krishna. That's it. Hare Bol. Thanks, So how did we discover that? When we were in Jagannath Puri, I approached one person one day and he kicked his shoes off. I also started noticing that they're very particular about people wearing shoes because we were on a Harinam Sankirtan and some devotees were wearing shoes and a man on a motorcycle stopped and he yelled at us and I asked somebody what was his, why he had a problem. He said, "You're wearing shoes while you chant the holy name." So my point is that everywhere you go, there's always a key, a little key. And if you just try, and Prabhupada told this in 1975 in Vrindavan, is if you're sincere and you try to present the books to the best of your ability, then he went like this with his hand. He said, then the master within your heart will give you the genius of how to do it. And he said, everyone should just be sincere and try. And so everywhere you go, if you take books with you, and you make a plan to distribute them, and you just try in whatever local place you are, then Krishna will reveal how to do it. Does anybody have any questions? Prabhu, what's your name? Varun. Okay, Varun, Prabhu has a question. Go ahead.
Can you explain about reading Prabhupada's books?
Can we just explain about reading Prabhupada's books?
And studying Prabhupada's books.
And studying Prabhupada's books. Yes. We should read and study Prabhupada's books. And you may notice it's kind of a miracle. Books are a miracle because it's speech that's abstracted. It's an abstraction of speech. It's just speech written down. So the author is actually, the words of the author, the sound vibration is in the book. So when you read one of Prabhupada's books, you're actually hearing his voice coming out of the book, and you get that kind of association. If you make a plan to read, which I highly recommend, then you'll be able to read all of Prabhupada's books on a regular basis. And I'll just explain what I mean. Prabhu, what is your name with the blue hat? Maskar Modi Prabhu. Prabhu, you have a bead bag? Do you have counter beads? Yeah. Note that Maskar Modi Prabhu has a bead bag and he has counter beads on it, right? So if he was here and he had a bead bag and no counter beads, what would you think? Maybe he was a government agent. Because Like, this guy doesn't know anything. He has a bead bag, but no counter beads. So just as we count our rounds, we're very careful. We pull down, like Prabhu, you pull down a bead every time you chant, right? So in the same way, we can count how many pages we read every day. So why does this work well? Because there are too many books, right? And if you look at them all, you might think, I can never read all these, so I just don't do anything. I'll wait till later. And later never comes. So what a better plan is to figure out how many pages that you'll read every day and then count them. And so this is a system called Be a Sage, page by page. And there's an app you can get. It's on Android and iOS, and it's free. And you can dial in any of Prabhupada's books and then pick the time frame in which you want to finish the book. And then it'll tell you how many pages you have to read every day or how many shlokas, depending if you're reading electronically or whether you're reading a book, right? So then if you get a little sticker that sticks and unsticks and you put it in the book, and then every day, let's say you decide you're going to read 10 pages a day, then you move it forward 10 pages, and then you don't stop until you reach the sticker, just like running a race. You know, you wait for the tape, and then you go across. And if you do that every day, for instance, if you were to read 8 pages a day of the Bhagavatam, is that possible in your schedule? You're very busy, right? No? You're not in school? Aren't you in school? College is very busy, no? It's very busy. So 8 pages a day, that might be, you know, like a fast pace. But let's say you did it, you'd finish the whole Srimad Bhagavatam in 5 years. You're going to be 5 years older in 5 years anyway. But if you finish the whole Bhagavatam in 5 years, you'll be vastly improved. You'll be wise, you'll be sense-controlled, you'll be able to see Krishna within everything, right? That's at 8 pages a day. So if you pick a number and then you keep to it on a regular basis, you'll be very successful. We'll just take a couple more questions because you all have to go on parikram. Prabhu, yes.
So I have a habit of reading books parallelly.
He has a habit of reading books what?
Parallelly, 2 books together.
2 books at the same time?
Not at the same time.
This means very high IQ. Okay.
So basically something like Leelamrit, and then we have Bhagavad Gita and then Bhagavatam. So Bhagavad Gita is
Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam he's reading at the same time.
so Bhagavad Gita is philosophy. Leelamrit is a very different roller coaster ride.
Oh, Leelamrit.
Inspiring. Bhagavatam has got a set of stories with realizations. So is this something that you recommend or do you recommend sticking to?
Reading is according to taste. All the devotional activities you do according to your taste. There's no hard and fast rule except for you have to finish your rounds and follow the 4 regulated principles. The other programs are according to your taste. People have different tastes. They read different books. So whatever taste you have for reading, I just recommend you absorb yourself. Somehow or other be absorbed. Way in the back.
His question is like, majorly we distribute books at a signal. So over there we can't remove our shoes and talk more also. So how we can overcome this and our enthusiasm can keep going?
Oh, well, working at the traffic lights?
Yes.
Bhima Prabhu and I did it, remember? Were you there? Bhima Prabhu and I went out and we worked the traffic lights together. It's really fun. I mean, people are captive audience, they're sitting in their car and they're maybe listening to the radio. They're hoping to go home. They're thinking about any old thing and then all of a sudden, there's a Hare Krishna at their door. So, yeah, you don't have to take off your shoes there, but what I was saying was every place, any circumstance you're in, if you pray to Krishna and you try for it, you'll find a key that works for that particular venue. Just making a conscious contact with people at the lights is very nice. You can put the books in the window. And there are a number of things you can try. You might even try a card. Because if you hand a card in the window that they can look at that explains what you're doing, then you don't have to say anything either. In fact, I'd like to try that. Next time we're in Bombay, we'll go back out with you to the traffic lights. Okay, last one.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So Prabhuji, when we distribute books, so sometimes we get sued. And
Sometimes when you distribute books, you get shooed.
And shoot in a very bad way.
Shoot in a very bad way.
So how can we continue that?
How can you continue? Well, if you decide that going out on Sankirtan is a way to get spiritual blood. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told his devotees that when someone shoos you away, then you get spiritual blood for your spiritual body. It's the way you make advancement. Chid Rakta for your Chid Sharira. So if you go out on Sankirtan and you go out for self-purification and think, I'm going out to be humble and to learn how to tolerate being shooed. How many here like being shooed? Good, okay. He's not going to have a problem. In fact, sometimes when we go out, I tell the devotees, here's your goal. Get 8 people in a row to shoo you away. He's like, come on, shoo me away. And it's like, darn, I only got to 5. And then somebody took a book, and then you have to start over again. They don't know why they're shooing you away. They're just mental. Everyone's mental. They open their door and they go like, oh, no thanks. And it's like, no thanks to what? They don't even know what they're saying no to. Everyone's in some kind of trance in the material nature. So you have to be a little compassionate and also appreciate the fact that when you get shooed away, that you're learning how to be humble. We're not going out to become some great, famous person. Like I did more than anybody. You go out to be humble and see what it's like to be shooed away. Generally, people don't shoo you away unless you go out to try to give them something nice. So if you go out with that goal in mind, then you'll be happy and successful. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Radhamana Mohan, if you so desire, please bless the Bombay, Hyderabad team to expand the monthly Sankirtan Festival and Transcendental Book Distribution, to become absorbed in reading Prabhupada's books, and please let them become a mighty force to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. And please let them also tolerate being shooed away and develop supreme humility in your service. Thank you for considering our requests. Everybody who agrees with this prayer, in whole or in part, please say Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna! Manchakalpadurishya Kripasanabhya Vachapatitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavini Ki Jai. Narottam Priya Prabhu Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Haribol.